For now, the International Aerospace Expo is over, and so we can go back to doing what we love doing in this game. Since this event was also the free fly, and a lot of new players may have joined the game, it is a good time to talk about the content that we can actually do within Star Citizen. I'm going to keep this first one short, as this is the most obvious thing to do. Contact Manager and all the missions you have. The names of these missions are quite obvious, and they have a description what you need to do. They also have reputations attached to them, or well, most of them do, and so doing more of them gets better missions, better reputations, and so forth. Let's get to activities we can do well alongside with these missions, or perhaps even without them. Let's go with the simplest 2-in-1. If your ship has any cargo space, you can actually go looting at the stations across the planets and moons. Preferably, these should be mining stations if you don't want combat, or they can be bunker missions under the Mercenary tab, where you can also get some weapons while visiting to loot mining stations. And knowing that your ship has, well, let's say 40 units of cargo, you can also buy some more expensive goods and sell them at the cities. So you can do some basic trading. I don't really suggest doing it with a ship that has 4 or 5 or 6 slots of cargo, but something that has 40 units at least. Preferably even more. With a ship that has only several units of cargo, it is a lot safer just to loot these stations, all the gear, armors, clothes, store them on your ship, and deliver them to orbiting stations or planetary cities to the stores where you can sell them. It will take a little while to know what is worth the most, but it's not that hard. We can also go looting the dead bodies. Now for this you will once again need a mission, but it's something you can do aside. Ideally, I would suggest you grab yourself a multi-tool and tractor beam attachment, as this way you can bring the dead bodies to your ships and loot them there, storing all the goods you wish onto your ship. This is best done with the mercenary bunker missions, and you can also loot the crates there. Compared to the mining stations, these armor and gear definitely have a bit more value than some of the general nonsense items. We also have several forms of mining. There is the hand mining, which we can do in caves, and this once again requires a multi-tool and mining attachment. I highly suggest getting a heavy armor chest piece, as picking up a heavy backpack, which can only be attached to heavy armor, will give you the most amount of space to store those minerals you are about to mine. Some of it can also be done on planetary surfaces, but if you're looking for a mission, search missions, lost person in a cave, read through it, and you will see that there is a cave involved. Go there, look for the guy or ignore it, and you can just do mining if you wish to. There's also the ground vehicle mining, which can be done on planetary surfaces. For this, you will also need an ROC, which is a ground vehicle, and a ship big enough to carry it. Roaming about with a mining ground vehicle is not optimal, as you may lose your bearings and get lost. Plus, it can be hard to find these mineable minerals, as you're more likely to find big rocks, which are meant to be mined with a ship. You can also rent the ROC and a ship big enough to carry it. Then there is the ship mining. Now, with this, you also need to visit the refining stations. And refining stations often have locations where you can rent this mining ship, Misk Prospector. All the mining systems themselves kind of work similar, from hand mining to vehicle mining to ship mining. And once you have actually done some mining with a Misk Prospector, a ship, you will need to bring the goods back to be refined. Now this will actually take a while, and once the goods are refined, you will need another ship with what you can deliver these goods to the city and sell them there. It can sound a bit tedious, but there is a lot of money to be made this way. Then there is the salvage. Salvage has several ways it can work. There is hand salvaging, once again with a multi-tool and special attachment, and this time even with a special magazine. This multi-tool will allow you to actually repair your ship to an extent, but it is not really meant to be used as a salvaging tool, as it salvages very slowly and very little. There is an option to do this with a ship called the Vulture. At the moment it is not rentable, and you can actually go either doing salvage missions, or you can even go out searching for destroyed ships or just some panels that you can salvage with this ship. At some locations you can find already destroyed ships, and you may find cargo as well, so you can do some salvaging, looting, scavenging. It is always a good idea to have a multi-tool and tractor beam attachment with you. You may stumble upon a hostile ship like the Drake Atlas Black or some kind of cargo ship. After destroying it, it may drop cargo, and so you might want to store that on your ship to sell later. You can also do bounty hunting missions to find some of these ships and loot them after you've destroyed them. If you're just looking for a ship upgrade, you might just be flying around and find old, deserted or lost ships around, let's say, bunker mission locations. If you have a mission to that location and you find an open door, you might want to check that vehicle out and perhaps even take some cargo from it if it has, or take the vehicle itself. But if you do so, remember to unlock the doors, as you may be locked out once you close them. There's plenty of activities and variants of activities which can be done. Not all of the activities we can do are lucrative, perhaps doable in a pleasant manner, profitable, or even ideal. We can do piracy, scavenging, looting, exploration, data gathering. But right now, some of these last activities I mentioned really lack the foundations to use them properly in ways of making money. Let's say data gathering or scouting for somebody. Currently, these are unfinished activities which either require a fleet or a crew, or perhaps a person to sell some information to who might be interested in buying. These activities will get improved over time, but right now there is, let's say, manual aspect to them. There are a few other activities I didn't mention, and there's actually quite a huge variety of contact missions. It would take really long to go through all of them very thoroughly, and thus I highly suggest looking up certain activities you might want to partake in. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of information to know once you want to do some of these activities. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of activities I may have missed and perhaps not considered because they are such minor activities, but this is the bulk of it. Anyway, this has been beautiful, and as usual, don't forget to subscribe, like, and thanks for watching.